Any question, please? Please feel free to ask questions. Any questions? Any words from anyone? Are we good to proceed right now? How good to proceed?
Yes, you are good.
Any other person, please? Who is seconding the motions?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Taiwo, thank you very much. You are actually welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Taiwo.
Good afternoon.
I believe we have everyone set for today's class. I think probably before now, the host might have informed everyone that materials, most especially our laptops, we should have laptop, because I know I don't know, some people might be watching this from their phone. And if you are watching this from your phone, it wouldn't make a good sense for us, because we are going to be doing probably a live session, like a class. We are going to be laying our hands on some things that we'll be working on Excel, because this is an Excel class. So using our mobile phone will not bring a big impact for us. So I would like to say, would like to welcome everyone, and I would like to probably recap on what we actually went through yesterday. So I believe we introduced ourselves maybe bits yesterday, and we talked about the essence of Excel, just like the host has recapped. He has taken us through the essence and relevance and fields where we need Excel. So I think we should just, without wasting much time, we can just dive into what we actually have today. I would like to share my screen so that we all see what we really have to do for today. Let me share my screen. Okay, can we see this screen like this?
Yes, exactly. We can see it.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. All right. So today we'll be looking at we'll be going through these segments. Like this first segment will be, I'll just talk about what Excel really means. So we'll talk about the Excel interface. We'll get to know the different segments or different tools on the Excel interface, and everything about the interface we'll get to know there. Then we'll try to do some work on Excel, like data entry and working with some formulas, and maybe doing some basic formatting, and just looking at different types of file that we have on Excel, and also how to save our file in different formats and all of that. So then after then, we can now go on maybe with our assignments and what we do. But for this class, we'll be working together, like doing a particular working on a particular data set, so which I will be instructing you, and we'll all be doing it together, because I want the class to be like interactive, not that I will have to give you a data, then just be explaining the data. So I would like you all to just follow and do as I say, then from there, because that's the best way for you to learn. The best way for you to learn is to look at someone as he does his things, and to make sure that you follow what the person is doing. So by so doing, before you know, you just see yourself in that very thing that you are now better than before. So I know some people might have been working with Excel, like we said yesterday. We met ourselves yesterday and we spoke about that. And I know some people are just maybe beginner. But like I said yesterday, we'll take everyone as beginner. We'll start from there. So if you have learned something before, you know something before, so this is an additional knowledge that you should, that will be gaining from here. Now let's jump in and start with the first segment. Like I said, the first segment is what is Excel. So what do we really mean by Excel? What do we mean by Excel? How do we see Excel? So without asking any question, because we've taken some time to do some kind of explanation. So let me just jump in. I will explain what it is to us. So Excel is a spreadsheet application. What do we mean by spreadsheet? So Excel is a spreadsheet application. So when we say a spreadsheet, you will notice that on the Excel interface, you see grid lines, or you see grids that goes like tables all around that fill the whole screen. So Excel is something like that. So an application that looks like Excel is the Google Sheets. You will notice that is how Google Sheets also is. Google Sheets looks like Excel, like the interface looks like Excel. So that is what we call spreadsheet. So spreadsheet is the general name of something like that. So some people take Excel as maybe a database application. Excel is not really a database application, but it works magically just like that, because we can use it like we are using our database application with some features in Excel. So, like I said, Excel is a spreadsheet, and a spreadsheet is essentially maybe a grid, something you see, rows going across, columns going down. So, and from those rows and columns, you will notice that the rows and columns form form cells on the interface. So those grids are called cells. So, and every cells can hold, let me say, they can hold some things, like they can hold three things, like the text, they can hold a number, it can hold formula. What I mean by they can hold means that we can enter text in each of those cells. We can enter numbers in each of those cells, and we can enter formulas in each of those cells. So even we can enter we can enter pictures in a particular cell, just one cell. Picture can be in a cell, and also we can have maybe a chart in a cell, depending on how vast we can use Excel, how vast we are. using Excel. So that is it. Everything you will do, you will ever do in Excel will, no matter how advanced it is, will be built on these three things essentially in Excel. So think of Excel like maybe a smart piece of paper. You can write on it. You can ask it to do some calculations like math calculation. You can organize information and you can make it look however you want it to be. So I would like us to, maybe from our own end there, I would like us to open our Excel. So if we've done that, we can indicate by raising our hands there so that we can go on. So I'm opening mine. Okay, I can see 1 and 2 persons. All right. So, well, okay. If we've opened our Excel application, I believe we should be seeing a blank Excel workspace there. So let's try to do maybe a tour together, looking around the Excel workspace. So I'm going to point out, and I want you to find them, point out some things on the on the interface, and I want all of us to find them on our screen. All right, first of all, this is how the Excel interface, this is how it looks like. And on the Excel interface, we have the first thing we have here on this place, we have what we call the ribbons. We have the ribbons. So at the top, you have what we call the ribbon, and it's the ribbon. It's a tools, or it contains some tabs like the home tab, the insert tab, the formula tab, view and data tab, all of that. So each tab has tools organized by different things. It has different tools in it. So like now, if I click on this, oh, sorry, I was actually looking at my screen. So if I click on this insert tab here now, you see we have different tools there. So if I click on another one, maybe the formula tab, you see we have different tools on the formula tab. Don't worry about maybe the tools. As we use them, we'll get to know them better, and as we work with it, we'll get to know those tools better. Now, the next one here is the formula tab. We have talked about the ribbon, and the ribbon is holding the tools under each tabs. So the next one here we'll be talking about is the formula tab. You can see this is the formula tab. tab, or the formula bar rather. So in this formula bar, so that's where we write our formulas, and also that's where we enter our text and values. So if we type anything on the screen, you will notice here that it is typing. We can see what we are actually typing here. Sorry. You can see what we are actually typing here on this this cell in the formula bar. So also, if we need to write a formula, if I write a formula in there, you see that I can see the formula here writing in the formula bar. So that is the work of the formula bar. It either contains our formulas or it contains the text that we type in the formula, that we type in a particular cell. So now the next one is the name box. Look at this to the left of this formula bar. There is a small box here, you can see. So right now it is probably saying D2 on my own end. Yeah, you can see it from the screen. So it's saying D2. That's the name box. So it tells you which cell you are currently in. If I click somewhere else now, you can see that it has changed to C5. If I click somewhere else, it has changed to what? To B3. So it's telling us where we are currently on the Excel grid, on the Excel interface, on the workspace. That's what the formula and the name box is there to do. Like it holds the address of a particular cell. So we call this B3, A1, C5, we call it address. We call it address. And also, if you see, you can see this. If I click on somewhere and I like drag my mouse to expand, to reach out to different cells, you can see as I'm dragging, you notice I have something like 2R by 3C. What it means is I am walking through 2 rows and 3 columns, you can see. So, but if I should leave it like this, yeah, I'm walking through 4 rows and 5 columns. So if I leave this like this, you will notice what I have there is what? C3. So, and C3 is this place because that's where I started dragging from. That is why I can see that. So that's the work of, that's what the name box, that is the essence of the name box. So then after that, we have the grid. All of these spaces here, the workspace, we call it workspace. All of these spaces here is called the grid. So I don't mean the grid line. The grid line are these lines here. The grid lines are these lines, but the grid is the entire interface here, where we have our cells, which comprises of the rows and the rows and the column. So the column are distinguished or are labeled with this A, B, C, D, and all of that. So why the row are labeled with numbers like 1, 2, 3, like down to the end of the string. So that is what we call the grid. So like we said, the grid makes up the cell, each cell in our interface. So, and okay, after then we have this last space here. I believe we can all see my mouse. we have this last space here where we can see our sheets. So we all can see sheet 1 on our own space there. So we can see sheet 1. So this place is where we can create as many as possible worksheets, which will look exactly like this. So if I create a new worksheet here, you will notice that this is my sheet 1. If I type something here, you see this is sheet 1. If I go to the next sheet, like sheet 3, there is nothing there. It's just like a new sheet that I have where I can equally work as I've worked on sheet 1. So for us to understand what the worksheet is, we have what we call the workbook. So we opening Excel like this as a new book. We can all see at the top here, we have book 1 here. So that is how Excel names each of the worksheets that we open. It will name it as book 1 before we start to like give our workbook a name. So a workbook is just like, as its name implies, it's just like a book. So when we say a workbook and a worksheet, we have a workbook like a book, and the sheets are the different sheets in our book. So we can open each page, the different pages in our book. So we can open with each page and write something and document something inside. So that is how the workbook and the worksheets. That is the better explanation for the workbook and the worksheet for us to like understand. So another thing we should see here. Okay, looking at the right side of our page, we can see this our scroll bar here. We can see our scroll bar. Our scroll bar here, we can use it to scroll through the interface of our Excel application or our Excel sheet. So also we have this zoom tool at the bottom bottom right. You can I believe we can all see my mouse here. So we can increase how you can see as I'm increasing the space is becoming bigger. So and I can also reduce my zoom. So that is the essence of this zoom tool right here. And also here we have different layouts, like page layout, different layouts that we can see, we can use to view our Excel. Most Excel are always on default on this normal. So we all see it in this space. So for this one, the next one here, we have the page layout. The page layout is used probably maybe when we need to set our pages for printing and all of that. And again, here we have the page break. So here we can see, if we click here, we can see different page, because the spreadsheet is something that is very, very wide, but also it can be segmented in pages in case we need to print. Let's check this out. So if I come to this this view, you can see how it looks like. You can see how it looks like. So in this view now, I can set, you can see that like my first page or my first page layout here is having like column A to column I. So it doesn't mean it should be column A to column I. It depends. This is just the default setting. So it depends on what you want to set. You can increase it and you can reduce it. So for those of us that will be learning or be looking at how to set the page for printing. So this is very essential for us to note. Also, if you come to this last one where we have page break, see, look at this page break. This page break also, we can set our page break. We can set our page break. When we set our page break, it means that that is where we want our page, our entire page. That is where we want it to focus on. So probably if time permits us, if we can also look at that in subsequent class. So maybe we'll look at that. But for now, we are working on our normal page. You see now, because I have gone to the different page layout, you can see what is bringing out for me for this line. Is bringing a page break for me. This is a page break. Is indicating that my first page is actually ending on this place. If I'm working with if I'm working on any document and I want to set a printing a printout format for it, or a printout layout for it. So this is, you can see, is bringing this out. If you go here also, you see another page. You see another page break like this, just like we saw when we navigate through the page layout. So that is that. Let's the next thing now that we'll be looking at is will be okay, we've talked about the Excel and we've talked about the Excel interface. Okay, let's quickly go into entering of data. So here we'll be working together by entering data. I'll instruct you on entering data in our Excel. So from there, we will work with formulas. Also from there, we'll do some kind of basic formatting, then look at how to save our file in different formats and all of that. So now the next thing we'll be doing, let's open, we've opened our Excel. So now we are going to type our first data on the interface. So we are going to build a simple table together. So it will be like a monthly expense tracker. So I will tell you exactly what to type and where to type it. So we'll be working together so that it's as we work, we'll be becoming we'll become conversant and get to know about the interface and all of the tools we need to click, or the tools, how to use those tools. And also probably we might be working on some maybe shortcuts so that we become conversant with those shortcuts also. So we won't have to come and learn those shortcuts maybe separately. So now let's go. First, are we let's indicate, are we ready? Hello? Hello, let's talk, please. Okay, are we ready to go? I can't hear our voice. We are all
Please,
muted.
you can open your mic and speak, please.
Okay, you can
Yes,
open your mic.
I'm ready.
All right. I believe everyone is on the Excel interface. So we'll be working together now. I will instruct us on what to type and how to go on with our Excel. I know some of us, we know how to do all these things, but just bear with us as we go further. You will see many things that you be becoming conversant with, and or those things that you'll be learning for the first time. So, but for now, like I said, we want to take everyone as a beginner. So just bear with us and let's go on. All right. Let's click on our cell A. So on the cell A, we'll type, let's type month. Let's type month on it. Just like I said, want to build maybe a monthly, just a basic monthly expense tracker. So, and I want us to work with the same data. So let's type month here. So typing month here, instead of moving our mouse, we can use our tab. Let's press tab on our keyboard. So you notice that pressing tab on our keyboard, we have moved to cell B1. If you look up on the at the name box, you see B1 here. So that's where our mouse or our pointer, that's where it is now. So also there, let's type income. Let's type income. Let's type income. So let's press tab again and type expense, or rather expenses. Let's type expenses. All right, we can press our tab again. Let's type balance. Let's type balance. I believe I'm not too fast. So having typed all right, having typed balance, our pointer or our mouse, or sorry, our pointer is still on D1. So from there now we can press enter. Let's press enter and see what we have. So you can see what we have here now. We have our mouse staying on, or our pointer staying on A2. You can see. Okay, so the reason we have this is because while we are on A1, you know, normally as we press enter, we should see our mouse going to maybe D2. But because of the behavior of Excel, because we've been moving our mouse all the way from, our pointer all the way from A1 with tab. So we pressing enter will meet ourselves on A2. I hope that is clear. That is just a behavior. So now let's type under the month, let's type January. Let's type January. So also we can press tab on the income. So let's type, let's all type 150,000, 150,000. Just type 150,000 like I have done here. No need of putting comma or anything. Just type. So we'll see how we do that when we get to formatting. So now from there also, let's press tab. So that's we are under the expenses now. Let's type 95,000. Let's type 95,000. 95,000. Okay. So we can press okay, let's press enter. Let's press enter. So I don't know, when you press enter, maybe from your own side, you can see that the mouse pointer is actually going on under A3, isn't it? But mine is going on B3. And the reason is because while we were working, so I clicked somewhere else when my mouse was, when I left A2 and my mouse was on B2. So I clicked somewhere else before I came back there. So it indicates that that was actually where I started from before I pressed enter. Like where I started from was the top, where I started from after I've clicked somewhere else. So I believe we all understand what that means. So I think I explained that before. So now let's go on. Let's type February on our A3. Let's type February. So pressing tab, let's type 180,000. I just want it to be interactive. Let us enter the data ourselves instead of giving you maybe a ready-made data. Though we'll be doing that probably as we go on with the class, probably on assignments and all of that. But here we want to do something like a live class where we'll have we'll have to be working on real data that we built ourselves instead of bringing in data from somewhere else. Now, I'm going to C3. So let's type 112. Okay, 112,000. So I'll go back to my A4. So I type match. Let's type match, and our tab 165,000. Let's type 165,000. So let's press tab. Let's type 98,000. 98,000. Done. Let's see. Let's enter the last one. So let's enter April. April. So here, let's enter 200,000. So next tab, let's type 140,000. So now, good. I believe we are all on the same page. We've all entered our data sets. All right. So you notice that as we type, pressing enter, it moves our mouse or our pointer. It moves it down the screen. So, and if you make a mistake, you can move your mouse. And okay, let's say for instance now I've made a mistake here, typing 140. So if I put my mouse here, typing 140,000, if I put my mouse here and say maybe I want to change anything on here, it is, if that is the last thing I have done, I can do undo. I can do undo by saying by pressing Control Z. So undo is our Control Z. I believe that is we can memorize that. That's the best shortcut we have in not only in Excel, everywhere. You understand? That's the best shortcuts we can have. So as I have done Control Z means undo. Control Z means undo. So as we go on, we'll learn other shortcuts. So, but if we need to look for where we have maybe undo on our keyboard or on our menu here, it is either we come to the top here. Mostly, it is always at the top here where we can see the undo. This is the undo button, and this is the redo button. Even sometimes when we click on this drop down here, you see many things we have entered. You notice we entered from it counts from the bottom here. All of those things we have done. So it's as like for mine now, I've done like 76 actions on the screen. So it's taking 76 actions on the screen. So going up, you can see going up. So if I actually come here and say I want to undo from this side there, you notice that it highlights everything from the top. So it means that if I should undo from this side, so instead of me pressing Control Z on my keyboard, so I can actually come right there and open this. So if I click undo to this side that I'm holding, you can see this is typing. What it shows here is typing month in A1. So if I should do this, it cleans up everything that I have done from that end. So let's try this out. So let's come to this April. Type in April. So you can watch from my own side. You might not remove from your own side, but just look at it. So this is it. If I should say undo and I press this, you will notice everything that I've done right here is gone. Do you see? So that is how to use the undo button, and you can use your Control Z also. Also, if I need to bring back all of those things that I've done, this is the redo button. I can come here and click this. You can see what I undo or what I undid. You can see them here. So if I come here, you can see the first one I did here was to undo my 140,000 that I have written. So it's still there. So if I wanted to bring it back, so this one counts from the top to the bottom. So why undo count from the bottom to the top? You can see from the bottom to the top. So why this count from the top here, from the top here to the bottom. So if I click here, it brings back everything that I've done. So that is the undo button for you and how it works. The shortcut for undo. So if I have to do this again, okay, if I have to do this again, so and I use the shortcut to say Control Y is undo, is redo, Y Control Z is undo. So Control Y is redo, Y Control Z is undo. You can see I undo so many okay, like 3 steps of what I did. So that is why I don't have that is why I have that. But if I should press my undo here now, it will go one after the other. You can see it will go one after the other. You can see I'm pressing Control Y now. It's going one after the other. So that is it. And if you want to do what they call it, a group undo, you just come to this place and do this what I've just explained. So that is the undo button and the redo button. So let me just chip this in. You notice, look at, let's keep our mouse or our pointer at cell C5 here. Then let's press enter. You can see it has gone to C6. Let's press enter. It has gone to the next one. So if peradventure maybe we want to use our keyboard to move up instead of moving down, because we can only press enter for it to go down. What if you want to go up without moving our mouse? So we can press down the shift key. We press down the shift key and press enter. You see that it will go up. We press down the shift key and press enter. We press down the shift key and press enter. As we press enter, it goes up instead of going down. I believe that's a new thing we might have learned today, because not many people know this trick or this shortcut rather. So, and again, for the tab, you can see if I'm on A5 and I press the tab, it goes to B5. I press the tab, it goes to C5. So which means the enter key is for moving down the workspace, and the tab is for moving across the workspace, like moving horizontally across the workspace. What if we want to go back maybe from the from forward, we want to move backward? So the same thing we did with the enter key. We can press down our shift key and press the tab. So pressing the tab, we are moving back without the mouse. So that is that for this. Let's go on to the next one. I believe we've spent some time on this. So now let's take just a break to look at what we have learned or what we have entered. So I don't know, do we have any difficulty in our data entry as we've been working? So I want us to indicate, and even if we don't have any difficulty, we can go on. Please don't be shy. Let's pick up anything we don't understand. Nobody is here to laugh at anybody, even if it's something very, very basic. Let's let's talk about it. We'll explain it. Please, do we have any difficulty as we were working on? Please, let's talk.
No.
No difficulty. All right.
No.
Any other person? No. So any other person that has that's encounter any difficulty as we were going on? Okay. Nobody. All right. That's fine. I believe we are on the same page. So we can move on. We can move on to the next one. So the next one here on the segment here is is using our formula. So we'll be working on our first formula here, and I believe we'll learn a lot from this. Let's go back to our page here. Okay, now okay, so we are going to be calculating from our sheet here. Like I said, we should leave the part where we have the balance. So that's where our formula will be residing, or that's where we'll be doing our calculation. So, and the calculation will be done under this this column part, which is this column D. So here, so we'll be using the income. We'll be saying the income minus the expense. So we'll get our balance. Isn't it, Shebi? It is income minus expense that will give us our balance now. So, all right. So let's do some kind of formula. So on the D2 here, this is with B. So here, the rule of Excel formula, every formula that we want to enter must begin with, anything formula that we want to enter must begin with the equal to sign. The equal to sign. So anytime in Excel, anytime we write equal to, Excel in its memory understands that you want to write a formula. So the formula can be in form of maybe in form of basic mathematics, I mean basic maths formula, or using some functions in Excel. So if you write equal to, it understands that. So, but if we write any other thing, Excel knows that we are just entering data or anything. No, now here that's the rule. Now let's type B2. So now we'll be typing it instead of using our mouse. I know many of us know that we can use our mouse to click and to write anything, but let's just write. What we want to do is we want to say our expense minus our income minus our expense. So now we are writing equal to, indicating we want to write a formula for Excel to understand. We want to make calculation. So from here now we can write B2. Let's type it because this is B2, sorry, this is B2. So you can see here now that these are mouse pointer, this blue mouse pointer is coming, this blue indicator is coming on cell B2 because we've written it. Excel understands that it is what? It is, we are selecting that cell. So then we can write minus. So instead of typing the other one, so I just want us to see this, that even if we don't select, if we type something like this, Excel understands this. So now, if I should select C2, it puts C2 right there for me instead of me typing it. You can see what we have there now. And why did it indicate this blue and this red? Just for it to to differentiate each of the cell for us. So if we begin to click different cells, we'll see different colors out like that. That is how Excel works, just for it to be easy for us. Like if we are looking at the formula here like this, we should be able to identify that, okay, this is where it is using the color code. So that is that. So having written this formula, let's press enter. So what enter does is affirming what we just wrote there. Is just for us to say we are committed. They call it commit. So when you commit something, you just like you are stamping it that, okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, so we just committed. And if you notice what we have actually did here, we said the income minus the expense, and this is what we have. We have 55,000 here. You can all see. You see what happened there, that it's subtracting the income and the from the expense from the income, and that's what we have to show here, like the result. So from the formula bar also, you will notice something. If you click the result here, you will notice that, okay, let's click on C6, C2. You can see clicking on C2, what we have here is 95,000 in the formula bar, and the same thing is what we have on the cell here, 95,000. But if you click on our D2, where we have our formula, you can see we have the formula that we've written that results to this 55,000 on the formula bar. Do you see? That's what it's showing. But here, apparently, we can see that we are seeing 55,000, not the formula. So that is how Excel changes and updates its calculation. I hope that is clear for us. So if we go to the next one also, we can do the same thing here. We can do the same thing. But here, let's quickly do the same thing here. If equal to, then select B2 and B3 minus, we select C3. So we press enter. So, and that is how we get our results for our February row. You can see. But what if we are working on a long maybe data set? We cannot be writing formula. We cannot be writing each formula, or we cannot be writing formula in each of the rows like that. We cannot be writing each formula, or we cannot be writing formula in each of the rows. So we will have to because Excel is a tool that makes our work faster. So it means that there should be a way for us to get our results faster than typing those formula one by one. So, and how do we do that? How do we do that? So let's see. How we do this is, I will have to use, let's use our undo. That's our control Z just once, so that we'll go we take away the last thing we did here. So now let's have written the first formula here. We wrote the first formula here. So instead of writing or filling all other cell down, so we don't need to do that. So we can come to this formula that we've written, the first formula that we've written. We can come up here. So we'll notice that selecting this D2 where we have our first formula, you notice we have one small green box at the bottom part of this side. I hope we can see it. So now hovering our mouse on it, you will notice that if you hover our mouse on different angle of this place, we'll see what we can see. We can see a cross sign. You can see a cross sign on all other. But here, if we bring it to this side where we have that box, you see a cross sign also. But the cross sign is what is different from all other ones that we have here. So it indicates that they have different purpose. They do. So we'll tell ourselves the different purposes of those cross there. So from here now, this one indicates that, okay, we want to select that particular cell, and we want to can we say we want to duplicate what we have here. We want to duplicate it down, but duplicating it down, because we have formulas there, so it will work in accordance with the formula that we have there. So now if I should leave it, I see what happens, what Excel has done. So it has fill in all other rows down the sheet, and you can see we have different results, not just one result from this place. I hope we can see this. So I actually did not want to use duplicate, but that's still the best word to use. So when we say we are duplicating, it means we are writing the same 55,000 down here, but it's working in accordance with the formula that we have there. So duplicating down. So that is how to get field. We call these maybe fill down or flash fill. Sometimes they call it though there is a trick for us to use flash fill. So maybe as we go forward, we'll talk about that also, flash fill. So this is just to fill down our formula down. If we have maybe thousands of rows, so doing that, we have this comment. Also, again, let's do Control Z. Let's do Control Z again. I believe we don't have difficulty selecting that small arrow, clicking down and dragging down. I believe we don't have difficulty doing that. So okay, now let's go forward. I said we should do Control Z because I want to show us another thing. Instead of dragging down, we can actually do a click. We can do a click and we'll still get our results down. We'll still get our result down, but it's work in a way. So I'll show you what it means. So if I come here now, if I come here to this to that green box, if I double click on my mouse, you see it goes down instead of me dragging down. If I have 1,000 row, instead of me dragging way down to the last row, so if I do a double click there, so it fills up all those rows there. So, and I have my results. So it fills up all those rows just in seconds. So, and I have my results there like that. And like I have said, if it has a way of work that it works, it has a way that it works. Let me do Control Z, then try to enter a data here, like after April we have May. We might not do this. I'm just trying to show us something. We have May. So here, let's say I haven't filled up these two parts. So if I come here and I do double click like this, you will notice that it didn't go past this line because there is no data here, especially here, not because there is no data at this place. There is no data here. So if we have data here and I actually click on that place, so it will fill that place also. It will fill it down. It will fill that place. It will fill it down. So this is what I'm talking about. Let me do control. Okay, so sorry. Let me delete this. So I believe we know how to delete. We can delete as many data in our cell as possible. So we can select all of this and just press the delete on our keyboard, or left click. When we left click, you can see delete here. You can see delete here. So this delete, it works in two different places. We can use this delete here. We can use it to delete values like this. Okay, no, not this delete, sorry. We can use the delete on our keyboard to delete data here. So, and here, when we need to delete data on this, you can use clear content here. Instead of, so the clear content that we have there, You can see clear content. This is clear content. Clear content here comes after the delete. You can use clear content. This delete box actually does delete cells. It deletes cells. It deletes the cells. Like if I should delete the cell, to delete everything on this cell, or if I need to delete this place, so I can use it. I can use this delete to delete this entire row that I won't see it again. It will just shift up, something like this. If I come and say delete, you see what happened. It deletes the entire row, but we still retain the row number. So replacing it with the part with the down part, undo. You can see. So that is what I mean by the delete, the different ways the delete works. So the delete on the keyboard works like the clear content here for data. So, and the delete on the keyboard here also, and if I use the delete on the keyboard while I select a particular row or a particular column, it means I am doing what? I'm deleting the whole content on that row. So that is that. So now, like this one, I said if I fill in this, so, and I come here and say double click here, you can see it goes down. It goes down. It even goes past this one because there is that data here. But because there is no data at this place, that is why it stops here. It didn't go when I tried to fill in this place, just like this. When I tried to fill in this place, it didn't go past this place because there is no data on this row, especially this side. So that is one of the behavior of data. Because sometimes when we have our data, we have some blank code, and we do that, we'll be like, why is my my data not passing through that? So that is one of those things you should understand, that Excel, that's one of the behavior of Excel. So now let me clear the content here. Okay, now that we have this, let's go on with our calculation. So I would like us to continue on this. Let's say we want to add up all of these things. So here now we'll be using a function from Excel. So what do we mean by function? You can see here I was talking about formula. This is formula. This is formula. Oh, sorry. This is a formula, like a maths formula that I just wrote, like a subtraction. So when we talk about formula, it's something written in this form. It is either we use functions together. So when we use functions together, we call it formula. Or we use a basic formula like this, like using the basic formulas that we have, just like in mathematics. For those of us that understands mathematics, you know that the basic operation that we have in mathematics are our plus, minus, divide, multiplication, and all of that, and some other logical expressions also, like and, or, and all of that. All those things are basic formula. Those ones are basic formula, plus, minus, times, and basic operation. So we have logical operations also, like the and, or. So they work with our functions, those logical operations. So, but for this one now, we have formula. So what do we mean by function? We'll be using function here now. We'll be using a function here from Excel. Functions are inbuilt. They are inbuilt in Excel. So they aid our calculations. They aid our calculation. Whenever we use a particular function, Excel understands that, okay, this is actually what we want to do. We have many functions in Excel. So let me quickly show you the functions that we have in Excel. If we come to this, let's come to formula tab at the top here. If we click on formula tab at the top, we can see here we have something written like this. So all these things are inbuilt functions, but they are tabs where we can see different functions here. If you click on this now, this auto sum, you see different functions about summing, something about summing like adding, subtracting, counting, and all of that. So you can see we even have more here. If you click on more, it takes us somewhere. So also, if you look at this place, we have this place is just a currently used functions that I have actually used on my own Excel. What they call it, or let's say those ones that I used recently. So this is it. We have here also financial functions. So in Excel, as an Excel user, you have a particular function that is associated to your own work, how you work. We might not be conversant with all Excel because Excel is used in different field. Like those that are in accounting, they use many of these functions here. So those that are in accounting, they will understand maybe one or two of these functions. So Excel is not built for just one person. Also, when we come here, these are the logical operations that I was talking about the other time. So there are also functions here in Excel. You can see we have and, we have or, we have nor, we have not, we have true, false, and all of that. So all those things are also functions. If you come here, these are text functions. All these are text functions that deals with text, like writing some text from left to right and all of that. So, and all other ones here. So you can explore them on your own to see different functions that we have in Excel. They are just packed together here just to section them. So in case we want to, we are looking for a particular function that we want to use. So we can go there and say, okay, this function should be under date and time. So you can go here and check for it instead of searching. Like as we are just beginning using Excel, we might not know those functions that are there, or when we need to what we actually want to do. So if you come here and you actually want to talk do something about dates, you can say, okay, okay, this one here, you notice that it talks about minutes, and you see something like what they call it, an explanation tag here. So it talks about what each of those functions are used for and how they are used. You can see return the hour as a number from so. So you can check them. You can check all those things. You can explore and check them. So that's what we mean by function in Excel. So, and we have some basic function that we'll be using. We'll be using maybe the sum, average, max, which is maximum, minimum, all of those things, count, and all of that. They are just basic functions for us to quickly learn. So for this part now, let's go on before we'll be going into doing formatting our table, so for it to look nice. So let's come to A6. Let's come to A6. Let's type total. So what we actually want to do is we want to get the total for all of our income, our expenses, and our balance. So let's type total here. Then we can press tab, or we use our keyboard. I believe by now we should be comfortable using our keyboard, going around using our keyboard. Even if I say you should use tab, you can use your keyboard to go there. So it's not necessarily you use the tab. You can use your keyboard your mouse, sorry. You can use your mouse to click on a particular cell. I hope that is I hope that is understandable. So now on our B6, let's type this function. Let's type, I won't be typing it, but I'll just tell us, let's type the sum function. Let's type the sum function. I'm actually not typing, but I would just want you to type the sum function. So have we all typed the sum function? Okay, the reason why I'm not typing this is I just want to remind us that whenever we want to write our formula, either we want to use a function or we want to just type the formula. We should always remember that the equal to sign is what indicates that we want to type a formula there. So we type equal to first, just like I'm doing. We type equal to, then we can type our sum. So you will notice that as I'm typing my sum, even if you type it in small letter, so you will notice that as I press S, what Excel does, it brings out all the formulas that is in Excel that begins with S. So this is another way to look for a particular maybe function that probably maybe you forget the name and you feel, okay, I remember the function. It begins with S. Let's see. Let me just type S and see what it brings. You can scroll and see. You see, you can scroll from this side and see each functions that begins with that letter. So if I type R here, you'll notice I have functions that begins with R. They are all also coming out. So I can just scroll and see what, but here I want to work with sum. So me typing S, I see S, those that begins with S. If I type U, it will reduce down to those that begins with SU. So instead of typing everything, so I can see from here, we have some if, we have some ifs. So they have different functions that they use. So if I come down to this sum here, you can see I have a tag explanation here, a tag comment here that is telling me that what this sum function does. It says it adds all the numbers in a range of cell. So later I'll be explaining what we mean by range to us. I think we all understand what we mean by cell. By now we should understand what we mean by cell. So I will explain what we mean by range also. So it adds all the numbers in a range of cell. So that is the work of this sum. So if I should select it, what it does, it brings out the syntax. So this is what we call syntax. So each of those functions has its own syntax. Each of those functions has its own syntax. So the syntax might, some syntax might look the same and some syntax might look different. So I will explain what that means to us. So when you can see from here, I have sum number 1. The next one is what? Number 2. So the next one here, you can see that it puts the next one in a what do you call it? In a square bracket. It put it in a square bracket. What does it mean? What does it indicate? It means that the first one here is actually essential, and the next one might not be essential. If I say sum here now, sum, and I select the first one, look at my mouse, I'm selecting cell B2. You see what happened? I have B2 here, and you can see that this number 1 is actually ticking, like it is bold in format. It means that is where I am. That is where I am. So you can see after number 1, I have comma. So I can write comma. So what happened? I see another number, just like I said. So the comma here is indicating that I want to write another, I want to indicate another number there. So I can see that it has expanded, it has expanded this also to what? Number 3. What it means that this one is now essential essential for me to write, because I have committed it by writing my what, my comma. So all these things are very, very simple. So don't look at it. It's because I'm explaining it. It might look kind of maybe confusing, but I want to just make it very simple for us and for us to understand many things as we work on. So this is it. Number 2, if I select another number, it's telling me that, okay, I want to add B2 and B3, the numbers in B2 and B3, I want to add them together. So if I want to go on, so if I put comma here, you see what happen again? I have number 3. So if I select this and I put comma again, so I have to put number 4 here also. Can you see? So doing this now, and I can close all of that. Probably I've included everything I want to add up. So in my sum function, so I can use my comma, my brackets to close up this. So closing up this means that I am done with my formula. You can see if I remove this, you can see that at the end of this tag here, I have my close brackets here. So it's telling me that I can now close my brackets. So if I close my brackets here and click enter, so I see my results here. So it means it adds up everything here, because we following the syntax. You can see from the from the formula tab here, you can see what we have here, even with the colors, just for me to be able to say, okay, if there is an error somewhere, okay, this is where the error is. So I can spot out where we have an error. And you will notice this, if I come to the formula and I click, you can see this tag also here. So here, if I need to probably like check something or change anything, if I come here and I click this number 4, you see what I have here. So it's indicating this is where I want to change. Probably maybe I want to change something there, or I come to this place. You can see it's highlighting this B3. So that is how to use the formula and all of that. I believe we are all following as I'm working. We are all following what I'm doing. So you can be watching just for you to understand more if it's not confusing. Like I said, if it's confusing, let's call ourselves back. You understand, because we are working together. It is not disrupting the class. You can always call back. And I believe we have we all can indicate by raising our hands up, but most time I might not be looking at that that box where we have everyone. So but we can equally unmute our mic and maybe just talk, just to draw our attention back. So now let's move on. So we can see what we did with this sum function. Pressing enter, we have our result here. So from this now, we'll be using another method, still using sum function. We'll be using another method on this. Sorry. So whenever we have something like this, you can see what happened was I am on a particular my indicator is on a particular cell. So, and I am clicking somewhere else. Let's say I have it like this. And I'm now clicking on another cell. You can see what happened. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to show something. Okay, if I have something like this and I click somewhere, oh, I can't get that. Still, don't worry. Maybe when I get something like that, I just want to show you so that we don't have error. So what you do if you have something like that is just to press escape so that we can continue with our work. So instead of committing it, pressing enter to commit it, we just press escape just to go off from there. So now I'll be using another maybe another format, or did I say format? I'll be using another way to calculate with my sum function here. So on these expenses column. So now let's come to C6. So let's come to C6. So just like we did for B6 to get our total for all our income, let's do the same thing for our expense. So now writing equal to sign indicating we want to type, we want to write a formula. So what do we want to do? What we want to do is we want to sum all our expenses. So, and we have a function in Excel that does what? That does that, which is sum function. So we can type our sum function, or we can click as we are typing, we can click from here. So when we type our sum function ourselves, we have to open a bracket just to indicate we want to put some values inside. So for here, if we have to select, so it means we don't need to do that. It will bring the bracket itself. So another way that I'm saying, if you notice from the first one, what we did was to start selecting one cell at a time and putting comma and all of that. So if we actually want to add everything from the top down here, so we might not need to do that. We might be doing something like selecting a range of cell. So that is why I said I will explain what we mean by range to us. So selecting a range of cell, if I come here and select the first data here on this column here, and I hold down, I'm clicking on this cell, which is cell C2. So clicking down and dragging down. It is click. I say click. We click down and drag down till the last cell where we want to include. So then if we leave that, we notice this, we have C2 towards C5. You can see instead of writing C2 comma, C3 comma, C4 comma, this column in the middle here, it indicates what it means is I'm selecting from cell C2 through cell C5. Cell C2 through cell C5. That's what it means. That without excluding any of the row down there, you understand. So if we need to exclude a row down there, that is where we need to be using this style that we use for this our income. You understand? So now, even here now, even if we don't put our bracket to close it and we finish typing our formula, Excel understands that. So we click enter. Excel will help us put these brackets there, indicating that we are done with our formula and there is no error. So if there is any error, Excel will bring it up and tell us that there is an error. Look at, if I do something like this, I don't know, let's see, I put brackets here, then I say enter. So if you look at it, it will just change the bracket. The bracket is nothing. I mean, the comma there is nothing. So it still allows that. But in some case, okay, let me see. If I put a here, what happened? And I press enter. So you can see that I am having an error here because something unwanted has been together with the function. You understand? So something unwanted here has been together with the function. So that is why we are having this error here. We call this error name error. We call it name error. We have some other errors also. So as we go on, we'll see other errors that we have in Excel. And also we'll see how we can curb those errors, how we can avoid those errors. We'll see. So now let's clean off this, as that's what is bringing the error for us. So enter. So we we can see, look at this formula. This formula here indicate this formula here okay, in this formula here, what we actually did is to include each of those cells one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. So, but for this other one, what we did here is to do what? To use range of cells together just to get our answer. So what do we mean by range? This is what we mean by range. We when we have different cells coming together is what we mean by what? Range. So range can be of one column, it can be of maybe two columns, it can be of three columns like this. So that is what we call range. Also, we'll be talking about array. So we'll be talking about array also. Array is just like some range of cell, but it includes what like a table. When we say a table array, so it means we are talking about something like this. You can see the way I selected this. So you can say, as it's a table because it's having an header here, we can say this is what? An array. So when we say range can be like this, just short like this, or as short as this. So that is what we call what? Range of cell, or it can be like this. This is what we call range of cells, or range rather. So now using the range and picking them one by one also is a way of what? Of using our formula. So the reason why we did this in the first place is because we want to follow what? We want to follow the syntax. So we want to follow the syntax just like this, each number, writing each number, writing each number. Also, the same thing for this one is also the same thing we did. We did the same thing here. If you look at this here, this range of cells here from C to through C5 indicates one number. Everything like this indicates one number. So if I have another range that I want to add together, I can put my comma. Let's see. I can put my comma and select this range also. This will indicate my second number. Do you get? If I have another one and I do like this, I indicate all of this one. It indicates my third number. What it does is it sum up all this, sum up all this, sum up all this, and sum everything up. So if I say enter, now you see what I have here. You see what I have here. I have a lot of number here. What it means, it is adding up all this place here, all this value. Now, let me bring you down here, just for us to know that this is actually what it adds up here. Let's come to this down part. Look at this place where my mouse is. We can see this this row here, this last row here. So when we select a cell here, or when we select range of cell, you can see what happens here. Down here, we have average, we have count, we have sum. So what this is saying is we selected four rows of 4 rows where we have, we selected some range of cell where we have data, and the number of rows that has data in it is what? Is 4. You can see. So if I select this one now, if I select five of these rows, you can see now I'm selecting 5, but it's telling me 4 here because it's telling me that I have data in just four of the cells that I selected. You can see here. So now this sum is telling me that all these numbers that I have selected with my mouse, now all of them, the summation of everything is what? Is 250,000. That's what it's telling me. That's what this cell here is telling me. That's what this selection here is telling me. And this other place is telling me the average. You know what average means? How average works. Average will work by the number of cell, that has data it sums everything and divides it by the number of cells, just like our mean in mathematics. For those of us that are conversant with mathematics or statistics and all of that. So we have something like this. So now let's go back to what I did. You can see from this place here now, I have, what do I have here? I selected from C6, C2 to C5, then D2 to D5, and what? B2 to B5. You can see me selecting all these things. This is my what? My summation. I have 1,390,000. So if for us to confirm this, that is correct, if I select this, because I actually selected this to add up with this, to add up with this. If we come down here, we'll see 139 and 1,390,000. You can see the same thing we have here. So it means, and here it's telling us we selected what 12 what 12 cells that contains data. 12 cells that contains what? Data. So if we select all of this place, it will be telling us that we selected 15 cells. You can see there are 15 cells here, but only 14 contain data. That is why it is writing 14 here. So, but that's not where we are going. I just want to bring our attention to that, just for us to understand everything about the interface of the of Excel. So now, this is actually what we want to do here. We don't want to go with all of this. Now, you can. It's all assembly line labor. If you want to reincarnate, you gotta pay. Otherwise, you work 100 years. I see what happened. I click on this vessel. Up all this. I want to clean up all this. This is what we just want to add up. We want to add up this place. So you can see now.
Mr. Taiwo, we have
yes.
Mr. Taiwo, we have just 9 minutes to go. So that was
all right. This is the last okay, this is the last part. So now let's do, we all know how we can do this. Let's quickly do the summation for this part also. So let's do the summation for this part. So we have this here. So now what we have on the next is what? Trying to do our basic formatting. So you'll be doing the basic formatting quickly. Data that looks good is data that is maybe taken seriously, like doing our formatting. Let's just make our table look presentable. Probably maybe you want to give this to a stakeholder or anything. So, but for the first part here, we have the header. We have the header here. I mean, our headings here. So let's format our heading. Let's make our headings to be bold. So we all know how to select our tab. Let's do that. Let's select from A by clicking down cell A1 through cell D1. So we've selected our tab. So keep in mind that whenever we want to do any formatting or want to format anything, we must select that particular cell or range of cell before we do our formatting. So now, selecting all these, let's go to Home. So on the Home tab here, you can see on this Home tab, you can see this section. We have different sections: the font section, align section, number, and all of that. So coming to this font section, you can see bold. If we offer our mouse through, we'll see bold, italic, and all of that. So for this, we can click on bold so that we have our bold type text here. So on this place also, if we need to change maybe any any font type, we can change here to any font type. Let's check. Let's use maybe Calibri here. Let's use Calibri. So I just selected my Calibri, and you can see the Calibri is coming out like this with bold type. So I can come to this next one. This is what we call the font size. So I can select from this range, maybe 12, giving it a size here. So that is that. So let's do okay, let's try to maybe do something here. Look at here now. If I come to this place and I select I select all my column I select from the first column here. I select like this. So if I bring my mouse to any of those lines on the column, you notice that I have this plus sign here. If I double click on the plus sign, you see what happens. If I double click on the plus sign, every range we collapse or we expand just to take the space that's the longest text or number as there. It takes the space just for us not to see maybe any of our number, because if I do something like this, okay, sorry, if I do something like this, you will see that we have some text that can't contain this, and we'll be having this. It is not an error. What we just need to do is to click on this place and expand it, or go there and double click so that it expands. So that's that. We just did that, or you can select and maybe hold down one place and expand it. So when we expand it, we notice that we have a column size that expands every other spaces there. So that is that. Now let's go on to okay, we've given our column. Okay, let's change the font size for all of this text. So like I said, we highlight everything first. Let's change all of this text also to calibrate. If you feel like, or want, then we can change it to maybe 10 so that it will be smaller, or we give it 11 since the header are 12, or the header is set to 12. So we have something like this. So what we are trying to do is to make our data presentable. Like the first header here, let's give this header a color. Let's use any color that we like from our own end. So we have two color palettes here. We have the paint, the fill. We call this the fill, and the other one we call this font color. Font color is the color of our letters and our text here. So we can make the background here. That's the fill. Let's make the background any color that we like. So I like to pick blue for the color palettes. Still highlighted, so I like to use maybe white here, up here. So that is what I have here. So you can see that it looks presentable in a way other than the way it was before. So also let's look at, we want to format our numbers here. We want our numbers to be in a real number style. So we can select all our numbers here, and let's come to this we are still on the home tab. So still on the home tab, if you come to this maybe the number section here, I don't know how our Excel is, but this is how mine is. So but everything still looks the same. So here comma in all of this text just to have it in a way like that. So if I come to this place and I select this comma here, you see what happened here. I have some of my text having the comma type. So but what happened, why do we have all of this? Like I've said before, is because the spaces are just too tight for it to contain our number. If I like, I just expand the two, or I double click to expand it. I double click here to expand it. So you can see we have this, and it's even coming with maybe decimal numbers. So if we like this decimal number, we can leave it for, but how do we get rid of the decimal number. Look at these two tools here, or features here. So we have one including that increases the decimal spaces, and the other decreases the decimal places. So I don't want to see the decimal spaces there. So I can click it twice and get rid of it. So if I want to put maybe 4 decimal places, I can continue to click on. You understand? So that is what it does. So I'm getting rid of the decimal spaces here now. So we just formatted these to be in a number format. And also, let's see if we can put maybe borders around here just to make it presentable. So here, like I said, we always select what we want to format. So here on this space also, we have where we can add our border or our borders. So if you come here, you can see border, though we can still do all of those things from our tabs here, but because the tab here is the ribbon here holds some tools in each of those tabs. So we have those tools here, a quick tool that we can quickly use here. So we have borders. So if you click on this down, we'll see we have different borders. But for now, let's quickly just use all borders because we want to put border in every part. You can see from here, clicking down, I have all borders. So selecting it, we have all borders selected. It selects like this, putting the black borders. So maybe later we'll teach ourselves how to change the color of the border and all of that. So now from here, you can see, let's do something also. Let's just change the color, the field color for this part. So let's use maybe this color. Let's use this color, this dark this ash color. So we can see that it is more presentable than what we have before. So also we can select it and use our features here to maybe centralize it, and also select everything and centralize this. All right. So I believe we've been able to see one or two things, or to learn one or two things from entering of data, formatting our data, and adding some features just to make our data presentable. So this is just the beginning of how we work with Excel, and how we become comfortable using Excel interface. So as we go on, be able to we'll become more conversant using Excel, and more convenient using Excel by trying to navigate through different features and through different tools the Excel is holding. So I don't know if we have any question, and I want to ask, I know we've been watching, but with all of these that we did together, so with all of these that we did together, did we get the same results like I have here on my screen?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's great. So any other person?
The good news here right
Yes.
now. The good news right here is sorry. This recording, because of the large size, right? It will be on our Facebook page. Sorry, on the YouTube page. So you can go to the YouTube to download, right? So then I will share the link to the directory, maybe to the file on the Google Drive. So you can have access, whichever one that pays, you can actually go over it during the weekend. Then note that it also gives you materials to check with Are you getting me? So all these things is available for our at your call and beckon to ensure that
Uh,
okay, learning is effective, correct? So that's just it at my own hand right now. After this meeting or this training session, you have immediate access to the live recording of this training session.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you can go on, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I know we've used some extra time on time. So I don't mean to take much of our time, but I just want everyone to follow up. And for all the same page. So we cover our file and the file type that we have. But for this time, probably we'll just show how to save the file, which is extensions of file, how they are, how different Excel file extension, how they are written and what they really mean. All right. So let's quickly save our file. So we all know, okay, let's just save our file because this is the first time of opening our file, and this is the first time of saving our file. We can save our file by coming to this file here. So clicking this file, we have this. So we can select save as. So even if this is the first time saving our file, even if we select save, it will always open it as say we want to save for the first time. Or the best place, the best thing to just do is just to say what? Save as. So coming here, we want to save our file to a particular place. So it is we can save on OneDrive, we can save on our system, or we can search for maybe a space to save. So let's search for a space to save. So I have a space here where I have this file Taiwo. So I want to save under this place. So let's name our file. Let's name our file. What name should we give to our file? So we can give our file let's say Excel class practical 1 or practice 1 rather. So let's type something like this: Excel class. So you can save it with any other name, but I feel we should save it with this name so that we have the same file name, Excel class practice 1. All right. So just select a location where you want to save, just like I did. So if you have a location, it can be on your desktop, it can be on your document file. Just select a location, just as I did from here, and you save anywhere. So saving, you can see what happens here. The name of the file comes up here, Excel class practice 1, instead of book 1 that we have there. So that indicates that we save our file. So because of time, in the next class, I'll be telling us the different Excel types. So we'll be talking about 2 different Excel types, or 3 rather. So if time permits us. So quickly, let's just wrap up on what we actually did today, just to call the class an end. And probably or give ourselves an assignment just for us to work with and practice. So let's recap what we covered today. So in this class, we did we checked about the Excel interface, looking at the ribbon, formula bars, name box, grid, and the sheet tab, and also the zoom two button under, and the whole interface. So we actually did, we also did entering of data and how to navigate around the Excel workspace, like the Excel navigating the cells around. We talked about the cell, we talked about range, we talked about the array, like telling us what the range, array, or cells, what it actually means. Also, um, we write our first formula, writing the basic formula using the one of the basic operator in mathematics, or in maths rather. That's the subtraction sign, that's the minus. So that was actually what we did, and we use one of Excel functions that that is very popular in use. That's the sum function. Also, we did some basic formatting. We touched the bold, using the bold the bold function. I mean the bold feature. We use the color. We did the column width, like expanding and reducing the column width. So also we use we did some number formatting, and we applied borders also on our data. So, and lastly, we um, we try to save our data so that we don't get our data lost. So so these are what we actually did for this class. So, but the assignment take home before our next class, I want you to do this. Everyone, I want you to do this. You create a new blank Excel file. It can be on this this very workbook, this very workbook, Excel class practical 1. We'll create a new blank Excel file. Or if you want to create a new one, okay, let's create a new one. Let's create a new blank Excel file. So we build a simple table, just like we just did here. So it can be anything, maybe a list of your monthly expenses, item you want to buy, anything. So just give it at least four columns and 5 rows, just like we did here. So let's add total rows at the bottom. Then let's use the sum function, just like we did for this one. So let's format it. Let's make the headers, let's make it bold, and let's add borders. Let's resize the column. So don't worry about it being very perfect. Just the goal is just to get comfortable using different features that we have used here. Then we can save it, and maybe in the next class we'll check it and try to make corrections or perfect what each and every one of us have done. So I believe you all learn something in this class. Actually, I actually commend everyone. I actually credit everyone. So you all are incredible. You did incredibly well today. So, and I believe in the next class we'll learn a lot than we have learned in this class. Thank you, everyone, for attending the class and for being attentive till the end of the class, even if even though I have used some part of your time. Thank you, everyone.
Right,
Thank you, Mr. Taiwo. Thank you very
thank
much.
you very
Thank
much.
you, Mr.
So,
Taiwo. Really appreciate.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
so my point, please, our people that have not made payments, please, next class we won't participate. Oh. Thank you. Data is expensive now. Let's be frank, and instructors too, you know. So please and please, this value is too small for the amount, but nonetheless, please, I encourage everyone to actually do that. So thank you. After this training session, I'm going to share the recording link to everyone so you can